So being Asian, or just any kind of minority in general, you usually get the question,
Hey, you're Vietnamese, right?
and I'm like, yeah?
Oh, so how do you say this in Vietnamese?
And then they continue to ramble on about, hey, they have Vietnamese friends, I like great Vietnamese food, and it's a way to prove all their Vietnamese knowledge onto you. And you're like, But I can't lie, I'm guilty of this, but you know, being Asian now and living to how old I am now, I've been through these encounters too many that, you know, I like to admit. But for the purpose of this specific video, I'm going to teach you guys, you know, common phrases and words in Vietnamese. So every time a person that actually meets me in real life and they're like, hey, you're Vietnamese, right? I'm going to show them and make them this video, and I'm talk you and teach you 3 common phrases on how you can talk to that really pretty Vietnamese girl and, you know, throw out some flashy Vietnamese pickup lines so you can pick up that hot Vietnamese girl or guy. First phrase you want to speak in Vietnamese is mắt của em giống con heo. Alright? Might sound a little difficult here, but I'll break it down for you. Mắt của em giống con heo. Right? Now say that all once, and it's pretty much saying your eyes are beautiful, my darling, in Vietnamese. The second Vietnamese phrase that you want to say is anh có nhiều tiền lắm. I'll say it slower. Anh có nhiều tiền lắm. Which means, hey, don't worry about the bill, I got the bill. Right? So if you take that lovely Vietnamese guy or Vietnamese girl out, you know, for some Vietnamese coffee, and you know, you want to be, you know, the person wearing the pants in the relationship and be like, hey, don't worry. All you say is anh có nhiều tiền lắm. That is the second Vietnamese phrase. And the very third Vietnamese phrase that you have to say and you have to understand in order to impress Vietnamese girls is mông của anh là mập lắm. Alright, I'll say it slower for you. Mông của anh là mập lắm. Which means I have a lot of sympathy for you. So if you're having a conversation with a Vietnamese guy or girl, most likely Vietnamese girl that you want to try to like holler at, say that and she'll be like, oh, she'll feel deeply, deeply touched. And you know, those are my responses when it comes to people who are like, hey, you're Vietnamese, right? So how do you say this in Vietnamese? How do you say this in Vietnamese? How do you swear in Vietnamese? Well, this video is, you know, my top 3 basics on how you speak Vietnamese, you know, the 3 phrases that will impress people, pick up girls, and impress all your friends and family that are Vietnamese. And in case you watched all the way to the end of the video, this was like a completely joke, and please do not use any of those phrases that I horribly butchered to anyone, because not only is my accent off on those phrases, they mean completely opposite things. The first one meant to say, you have a face or eyes of a pig. Alright, you don't get slapped, alright? Number 2 is, I have a lot of money. And number 3 is, my ass is fat. Right? So if those are the words that you want to say in Vietnamese, go ahead and by all means use those phrases, right? But hey, I ain't responsible for your health and well-being if you use those phrases. But if you watched all the way to the end of my videos, you'll understand that I got you, right? And if y'all want like real legit Vietnamese lessons and like 101 on how to like introduce yourself, how to do, you know, say hi, your name and all that, let me know. And if not, I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces. Trời. Essentially what happens next is you have your greens on top, your bean sprouts, and you can top it with some pepper and a squeeze of lime. Now essentially the part where everyone messes up on is when you have your bowl of pho.